So we're going to go over chapter 5 here. It's going to be the fundamentals of economic analysis. The key ideas that we're going to discuss in this section are going to be things such as scarcity, opportunity costs, marginal analysis, production possibilities, and the functions of economic systems. And then at the end of this, I'm going to try and give you some examples of some AP FRQ type questions. So the first section that they begin to talk to you guys here about is going to be the economic resources. There are 4 economic resources, and they are also known as the factors of production. The 4 factors of production here are going to be your labor, land, capital, and basically entrepreneurial ability or entrepreneurship. So what they mean by economic resources are basically what do you need in order to create anything in an economy? You need land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial ability. So if you think of any sort of business out there, let's take a local business like Jeremiah's Italian Ice. To have that business, you need to have the factors of production. To run that business, you need labor. So it'd be like the people, scooping the ice cream, scooping the Italian ice there, cleaning up. Those are your workers. Everybody seems to understand that in a business that you need workers. The land would actually be, the land that is actually sitting on the parking lot. But more importantly, we have natural resources, the resources that are used to create the actual delicious Italian ice there. So the company would need water, it would need sugar. These are the ingredients to make it. You'd need your paper napkins, whatever. The physical capital. Capital is basically machines, is tools and equipment that is being used to help manipulate the natural resources into something that you want. So the tools and machines that are used at Jeremiah's, you could have the ice cream machine, which takes that frozen bovine secretion and helps freeze it up and mix it up with some sugar and make it some delicious ice cream there for you. You can have the cash registers. It could be, the flashing sign out there. These are all forms of capital. They're tools and equipment. The actual scooper that scoops up the Italian ice, that's a form of capital, tools and equipment. This is all combined with entrepreneurial ability. A lot of people have heard of the term entrepreneur before. It's someone who, starts a business or thinks of a way that they can combine these natural resources with capital, with tools and equipment to make a business and make that business successful. So in this case, it was Jeremy in the early 90s that started this business and hired some workers, expanded, and grew. All businesses do this. You can think of it as McDonald's or Domino's or whatever. Even the school does this. We have teachers, our laborers here, the land and the natural resources that are there. You have the physical land that the building is on. You have what used to be trees that are cut down to make paper for your books, but now we're using everything electronically. You have capital is clearly all the electronic devices that we're using to transport this information to you. And the entrepreneurability is somebody who came up with the idea of, hey, let's bring all these laborers together, mix it in with these natural resources and capital to make a school. All right. Moving on. Scarcity is the fundamental problem of economics. People have unlimited wants, but we have a limited number of resources. So how do we decide who gets what? In a capitalist society, it's money, whoever can pay for it. We have an unlimited want of private islands. I want my own tropical private I'd love a yacht and all sorts of stuff, but I'm sure many other people would as well. We don't have 6 billion private islands out there for everyone. We don't have 6 billion yachts for everyone. So you have to decide who gets what. And the capitalist society is based upon who's willing to pay for it. The next thing that we have to decide here in the who gets what are the idea of trade-offs. In economics, we might call these things opportunity costs. There are trade-offs associated with everything in life. There are opportunity costs throughout your day. You cannot be in 2 places at once. You cannot have your attention on 2 different things at once. So by you spending your time studying, you're giving up your opportunity of watching Netflix. By deciding to go to school, you're giving up the opportunity of staying home playing video games. By going out for the basketball team or whatever, you're giving up the opportunity of having a job at McDonald's. Whatever it is, there's constant trade-offs. And economics tries to get you to better understand these ideas of trade-offs. What you should do with your money. You only have so many dollars. Say you have $100. If you spend that $100 on all your friends going out to dinner at Chipotle, then you can't use that $100 to buy some stock in the stock market and invest it in a Robinhood app. If you use your $100 to buy a life-proof case for your phone, it means that there's $100 that you can't put towards lowering your student debt next year. There are constant trade-offs in economics. The course is trying to get you to understand those. They're going to call it opportunity costs when referring it for businesses. Opportunity costs are basically if you have a company that makes more than one item. Say the company makes trucks and cars. If a company makes both trucks and cars, they do not have an infinite number of resources. Countries do not have enough resources to make an infinite number of anything. We don't have enough resources to make an infinite number of cars. So for every car we make, that's metal that's being used to produce that car, which means that there's that much less metal that we can use to produce a truck. So there's an opportunity cost, or there's a trade-off. So for if it takes just as much metal to make one car that it does to make a truck, that means for every one truck we make, we can't make a car because of these shared resources. Marginal analysis is the understanding that everything doesn't bring you the same amount of benefit. You can think of it as, or I like to think of it as the pizza analysis here. When you're really hungry and you have that first slice of pizza, it tastes delicious. That first slice of pizza brings you a benefit. It brings you a large benefit. If you were to put in terms of dollars, maybe that first slice of pizza brings you happiness or utility, as economists call it. It might bring you happiness of $5. So like if you're really hungry and they were selling pizza by the slice and they're selling it for $5, you would buy that one slice because it would bring you $5 worth of happiness. And you're okay with that because the marginal cost, how much it costs to get the actual item, the $5, would equal your perceived benefit. Your benefit was how much you actually got in happiness, $5. But that second slice, after you have your first slice, the second slice is good, but it's not as good. Maybe it only brings you $4 worth of happiness. So if the slices of pizza were $5 each, you wouldn't really buy that second slice because the second slice would only bring you $4 worth of happiness. However, if the slices were, say, $2 each, well, then you buy as many slices until you became so full that another slice wouldn't really bring you more benefit beyond $2. So the first slice brings you $5 worth of happiness. The second slice brings you $4 worth of happiness. Maybe the third slice brings you, $3 worth of happiness. The fourth slice brings you $2 worth of happiness. So if they were selling for $2 slice, you'd buy 4 slices. You wouldn't buy the fifth slice. Why? Because at that point, the fifth slice might only bring you $1 worth of happiness. And because the cost is actually $2, you say it's not worth it. People are going to continue to buy things as long as their marginal benefit is greater than their marginal cost, how much it costs them to buy something. If you get a lot of benefit from something and it doesn't cost a whole lot, you go ahead and buy it. It's like those impulse buys at the store. It's a pack of gum that only costs $1. And you're like, I can get more than $1 worth of happiness out of that. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. Go ahead. Who cares? When items get to be larger and more expensive, then people really have to analyze, am I going to get in that much benefit? Will the iPhone 11 really bring me $1,100 worth of benefit? Is it going to make me that much happier? If yes, then people go out, or if they believe yes, then they go out and buy it. If they believe it will, and they do buy it, but then it turns out that in reality it doesn't, then people begin to have something called buyer's remorse. They're upset that they purchased it, and they say, I shouldn't have done that. All of a sudden, when the marginal benefit is less than how much it costs to get the item, you don't buy it. That's it. It's as simple as that. That's your marginal analysis. Moving on. The production possibilities. Production possibilities is designed like a curve. It basically tries to show how much an economy can produce. Like I said before, businesses, or in this case, when we look at macroeconomics, we're looking at overall economies, they do not have the ability to produce an infinite amount of anything. So in this class, we actually kind of graph quite a bit. One of the production possibilities curves, one of the easier graphs, the beginning graphs that we take a look at, looks something like this. It might be kind of like a curved line, or it could be a straight line. And let's say that this economy here, whatever, it can be the United States, it could be Russia, China, Finland, Denmark. It doesn't really matter. So whatever economy it is, let's say that they can produce 2 different types of goods. They can produce consumer goods. Consumer goods are things that the average consumer buys. They're your groceries, they're your houses, they're your cars, whatever. And then you have, on the other end, you have your capital goods. And as we learned, capitals are just tools and equipment capital goods. It's just your tools and equipment that is used to make more consumer goods. Now, the curve here represents how much stuff an economy can produce. This will be kind of a number line. Let's go ahead and say that in the corner here is 0. Here is, we'll say that's 10. And here is 20. We'll make this pretty easy here. We'll say this is 10, and that's 20. So an economy, if it's producing efficiently, can produce anywhere on this production possibilities curve. It can produce, let's say, at this green position here at, let's call this point A. If they're producing at point A, they're putting all of their resources into the production of capital goods, and they're able to make 20 capital goods and 0 consumer goods. We'll say that's all the way over there. And if they went over to let's say point B. B would just be kind of a mixture here. B is saying that you can have a mixture of capital goods and consumer goods. I understand that this is not to scale, and I apologize. Let's just say it's a mixture. They would allocate their resources. Allocate means to divide up. They'd allocate their resources so that half the resources are going towards capital goods, half of them are going to consumer goods. And then lastly, we can just go to point C. All their resources to consumer goods and none to capital goods. There's a trade-off here. The economy can produce at any one of these points, A, B, or C, but they can't do all three at once. So by moving from A to B, they're going to give up capital goods and gain consumer goods. That is their opportunity cost, is losing out on capital goods. By moving from A to B, they have an opportunity cost of capital goods. They're losing out on capital goods. But that's what happens in a society. You don't have an infinite ability to make anything. Now, we in the United States do have the ability to make more today than we did in the year, 1885. Why? Why is that? Well, because we have more capital, more technology, more education. This economic growth allows an economy to make more. The curve itself has the ability to shift outward. And it can shift outward if we see, this outward shift can occur if we have increases in things such as capital. There's more tools and equipment. If we had an increase in things like education, if you had increases in productivity, we found a faster way of producing things. By increasing capital, education, productivity, the whole curve would be able to shift out and we could make more. And if we could make more, if the economy invested in capital, education, productivity, more technology that allowed for more productivity, if that were the case, then eventually, if we had this area here, we'll call this B2. At position B2, well, all of a sudden, now we can produce 20 capital goods and 20 consumer goods. Why? Because the economy has grown overall. And we're going to try and figure out ways to grow the economy and the consequences to those stimulus of growing the economy. But that's what we're always trying to do, is trying to grow the economy in certain ways. But occasionally, the economy has the ability to produce this amount of at either point A, point B, or point C, but we're not. We might have the capital, the tools, and the equipment to produce all the way out here, but in reality, we're here at point, let's call this D. At point D, we are producing less than our potential. Less than the potential. If an economy is producing less than its potential, then the economy is said to be in a recession. Point D, anytime the economy is producing less than its potential, it is said to be in a recession. On the other hand, if the economy is producing anywhere on the curve, anywhere, point A, sorry, I'm trying to color code this for you guys, point B, or point C, all of those points are said to be equilibrium. Equilibrium is what we're always trying to reach in an economy. Sometimes we're in a recession where we're not quite there. We want to be able to produce more. Equilibrium is great. And if we're overproducing in terms of money, which we haven't gotten to yet, if there's too much money out there and there's not enough goods and services, when there's too much money and not enough goods and services, then the economy is said to be in inflation. This graph cannot show inflation. That's why we're not discussing it right now. But that's the end of it, and we'll take a break. All right, thanks.